Bezrat Hashem, in this week's Parsha, Parshas Mishpatim, in the beginning, the Torah is teaching us a lesson so important that today especially, that there's so much influence from the world, the outside world, that we have to be very careful not to lose it. What should we not lose? We should not lose what the Torah is teaching us. The Torah is teaching us the first Rashi in this week's Parsha. Ve'ela mishpatim asher tasim lifnehem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying to Moshe Rabbeinu, these are the mishpatim, the laws, asher tasim lifnehem. When you teach the Jewish people, Rashi says, don't think that you're exempt to teach them 2 or 3 times, Rashi says, 2 or 3 times, in order that they should be able to say over what Hashem said. And not exert yourself as a Rebbe, as a teacher, Moshe Rabbeinu. Don't think you don't need to exert yourself to explain the reason. The reasons of the Torah takes much more effort and time and wisdom and knowledge to explain the reasons of the Torah. So don't think Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem says, according to Rashi, that you're exempt by the fact that I just taught them. I taught the Jewish people. I said over, and they're able to say over the text. That I said over what Hashem said, and I repeated myself, and I know for sure how to say it over. That is not enough. Even if you exert yourself 2 or 3 times, Rashi says. Don't think that you are exempt from teaching the Jewish people the reasons of the Torah. It has to be so clear, Rashi says, it should be so clear that as if it's ready like a table that all set up for the people to come and eat. That's how much the Rebbe, Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem says to him, according to Rashi, he has to teach the Jewish people the Torah to the level that they know the text clear and also the reasons of the Torah. And that is a lot of chokhmah. That is not simple. If Rashi is coming to tell us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said that to Moshe, be careful, Moshe Rabbeinu. Don't think you're exempt by just teaching to say over the text. Must be there's a weakness there. It wasn't so simple. Even to our great Moshe Rabbeinu, the great Torah messenger of Hashem, Moshe Rabbeinu, the leader of Am Yisrael that took us out of Egypt and received the Torah from Hashem. Now it's his turn to teach the Jewish people. Ve'ela mishpatim asher tasim lifnehem. Asher tasim lifnehem has to be clear. Not just clear by saying over the text, but also clear the reasons of the Torah. We should learn for ourselves that if Moshe Rabbeinu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, warned them, don't have that weakness, don't fall in that weakness and exempt yourself, how much more so we as teachers, leaders of Am Yisrael, that we want to teach and give over the Torah. And every Jew has an obligation to give over the Torah to each other and to teach and pass on the Torah. But the Matam Yisrael says, B'neichem, teach you Torah. B'neichem, Talmideichem, teach. Every father has to teach his children and also his neighbors. Whatever you can teach, everybody in his level, in his reality. Don't think the fact that you taught the text and he knows it, he knows the word, it's good enough. No. You have to exert yourself, like Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem said to him, the reasons. And we also have to find, most people don't learn the reasons. The Gemara says, Agra deshmaita svara. Svara. Hashem speaks, there's understanding in back of it. Most rabbis fall into just say the text because it's good enough, what the Torah says. No, the Torah says even deeper. Hashem demands deeper. Asher tosim lifneim. We as teachers, as leaders, we have to go and over and give out to our children, each one to his children, and each one to his students, whatever you can do. The reasons. Not simple. Not simple at all. Also, I took a look in the Unculus. The Unculus says, Vilen dinayo, di te sader kadamehun. Asher tasim lifnehem, he says, di asher te sader kadomehun. Kodomehun. Tesader, make it organized to them. Organized to them, and Rashi says organized, not just saying over the words, like it was given, but also make it organized and clear with the reasons of the Torah. Ay, ay, ay. Back in the days, people were learning in Europe. They didn't have all the facilities that we have. They didn't have all the comforts that we have, lights, air conditioning, hot, cold, whatever you want to drink. You can have coffee, tea, water, soda, everything you want today. Comfortable chairs, less comfortable. Books in Hebrew, English, Spanish. So much information. But it's not about the information only. Information is one part of the story. But Hashem demands us to Moshe Rabbeinu, which is the teachers, the rabbis, have to also, if just Rashi says, listen to this one, Rashi says, don't have in mind to say, I will repeat and teach them the subject and the halacha 2 or 3 times, beis or gimel pa'amim, ad till sheteh sedura b'fiyem, till it's going to be clearly in their mouth, sedura and organized, kemishnasa, like was given. ואיני מטריח עצמי להבין המטמא הדבר ופירושו. The reasons and explanations of the Torah. I don't need to do that. Let them do that. No, no, no. Every Rebbe, every teacher, every father must teach the Torah, the text, what it says, and also the reasons and explanations of the Torah. So we want to make a kal v'chomer. If for Moshe Rabbeinu, which he loved Am Yisrael, he was ready to moser nefesh for Am Yisrael, says, kill me, mecheni na misifrecha. If you want to kill the Jewish people, he was ready to give up his life for Am Yisrael. And Hashem said to him, don't think that you're exempt by 2 or 3 times teaching them the text, but you still need to teach them the reasons and the explanation, which means more than 2 or 3 times, because it's much deeper, it's much more knowledge, much more different ways how to explain, to get into people's understanding in their brain, that they should understand things. And they should build them a picture, an understanding, to concept what's going on and what Hashem is saying. That is way, a lot of skills involved. So how much more so for us? May the Almighty give us the blessing and the koach and the bracha that we, as teachers, will, B'ezrat Hashem, will able to go and teach and zoche, to understand the Torah, not only the text, and also to understand it and to explain it as deep as possible. And everybody has his own share. Like it says, V'sen chelkenu b'sorosecha. Not all the explanations are one way. There's many ways. The Torah, there's no end to the Torah. There's no end. The depth of the Torah goes deep and deep and deep. There's all different commentaries to explain. And everybody has to try his best to understand as much as possible and to take his share in the Torah and to give it over. And each one has his own chelek, his own share, his own beauty, and his own connection, and his own light to the Torah. And then what's more so if you give it over with happiness, and you give it over with alive and vibrant, and all your heart and soul. Ooh, how much far you can get and close to Hashem. From the teacher aspect and from the student's aspect. And it goes on and on and on. May the Almighty give us the blessing to come closer to Hashem and to understand the Torah and give it over and explain it as deep as possible. And everybody his share. Amen. Ken Yehi Ratzon.